Welcome to the TJ Walker Success Podcast. In this episode, you're hearing exclusive excerpts from my course, Finding a Problem Worth Solving. If you're ready to align your passion, profit, and purpose and solve problems that actually matter, this course is your starting point. Want the full experience? Click the link in the description and start transforming your future today. Let's start off with a quick win. What's one big problem that personally bothers you? That's right, you. I mean, right now, right today. Because if something really bothers you, there's at least a chance it might bother a lot of other people. Start with the personal. Now, it doesn't always reveal a huge problem worth solving, but sometimes it could. So ask yourself, what frustrations do you have in your own life, especially if you think other people do as well? Now, my daughter says, I have a dent in my nose. If I'm obsessed over a dent in my nose, that's probably not a big problem worth solving at a societal level. But think of something else that really affects you, whether it relates to your health, your wealth, your housing, how you use energy, what your concerns are with the future. Really give some thought to what personally bothers you. What's a problem for you? Because that may be your best source for discovering a problem worth solving for others. Speaking of AI, one of the big problems worth solving, if you follow the news at all, is AI security. How do we keep artificial intelligence from potentially killing everyone in the world or causing some other huge calamity, or more likely empowering an individual to use AI to cause destruction to humanity? That's a big problem right there. But certainly there are other ways you can use AI to help you figure out what are problems worth solving for you. So I want you to do this exercise for me right now. What I just did is I went to AI and typed in my own scenario. I said, hey, ChatGPT, I'm looking to find a problem that fits my talents. I talked about myself, the fact that I like communication and I do online training. And I just dictated a few things. I have a passion for personal development and communication. So it gave me 10 ideas, 10 problems worth solving for me based on my own circumstances. It suggested that I try to bridge the communication gap in global education. The fact that there are billions of people around the world who are trying to learn but have barriers because of affordability and geography. Well, that is something I'm already working on. And it gives, as a solution, an AI-powered multilingual platform for development. So again, I didn't know it was going to say that, but that is in fact what I'm working on. So this gives me, a little bit of reinforcement on what I've already been working on. Empowering non-native English speakers. Now, this has traditionally been something I've not been good at because I only speak English. But it points out correctly that there are a lot of people in the world who are struggling to speak English, and that an AI coaching platform might help them. And I've sort of accidentally stumbled into that. The process of me creating a digital clone, without me even realizing it or thinking of it as the top priority, it started speaking in 32 languages. So I'm sort of automatically meeting that need now because of focusing on the different problem of simply making my expertise available to more people. Reducing fear of public speaking, online engagement, more workplace communication, helping youth. So it's giving me 10 very specific ones that are all specific to me based on my talents, my interest, and what I want to invest in terms of time. I specifically said, hey, I'm not a billionaire yet. It's not like I want to start writing big checks. What can I do with my expertise? So it came up with these. I would like you to try this. Now, whether you use Anthropic or Google's or Microsoft's artificial intelligence, I don't care which one you use, but I would like you to ask some artificial intelligence program for suggestions on problems worth solving for you. But in order to do that, you've got to give it some background on what your strengths are, what your skills are, what your interests are, what your talents are, and then see what it says. Don't blindly follow what an AI tells you to do with your life. I'm not advocating that. I do want you to seek out different sources of ideas, and this is a great source for one of those ideas. So please do that now. And if you want to share that in the student Q&A section, if you want to share that in the student Facebook page, I'd love to hear what it came up with for you. What's a problem that fascinates you so much that you find yourself on a Saturday morning reading articles about the issue, perhaps going to YouTube to watch videos on the subject? Perhaps you're looking for documentaries on Netflix on this subject. What is that subject for you? Now, it's different for everyone, but this may be a good sign that this is a great problem for you to focus on because you're already fascinated by it. You're already interested in it. I know a couple of years ago, I was just fascinated with this idea of how can I scale my knowledge, help more people around the world? What can I really do to help more people in a way that isn't forcing me to work 24 hours a day and isn't costing people a ton of money? So I became obsessed with the problem of how do you create a digital clone to scale your expertise? And I found myself reading about this subject, watching videos, looking at new service providers, checking out platforms. I became obsessed with it. And then sooner or later, I found a platform I liked, created a digital clone. I just showed it to you earlier. And I think it is solving a huge, huge problem in the world because people everywhere want to learn more. They want to learn on their time, their way. They don't necessarily want to have to go get a 4-year degree on this subject. They don't necessarily want to have to go through a big, thick book. They want answers to questions right now. They want to practice right now. So this became a problem I was obsessed with. And so it naturally flowed to me going deeper and deeper and creating something to the point where I'm now helping thousands of people around the globe with my clone. So I don't want you to be me. I'm certainly not asking you to go out and start a clone business, but I do want you to take the same approach in that just think about what is it that really fascinates you? What do you look at when no one's paying you? There's no boss standing over you telling you you have to do this. It's not an extracurricular to make yourself look good if you're running for office or trying to get into college. It's not something you're doing for your resume. It's just something you're genuinely fascinated with, some problem, and you're trying to learn. You may or may not yet be thinking about solutions for it, but you're obsessing over the problem. Listen to yourself. Listen to your own gut. That is quite often going to be the best source of finding problems worth solving for you. Let's take a moment to step back and recognize the fact that it's a big world. I don't know your needs and interests. You don't know mine. That's okay. Realize no matter who you are, there can be some problem worth solving for you. Now, I don't typically think of people in the entertainment world or the sports world as solving some big societal problem. There's already tons of video entertainment, movie entertainment, 10 billion YouTube channels. There are a gazillion sports teams. And that's what I thought initially, but then I reflected a little longer. I thought, well, no, that's just my own bias. In fact, you may see a problem worth solving, the fact that nobody in your country has ever won an Olympic gold medal in a particular sport. Let's say downhill ski racing, or let's say in the breaststroke and swimming. So for you, that may be a problem where you're solving a whole identity issue for everyone in your country. Then it may, in fact, be a problem worth solving. You may want to be a comedian, and I would argue there's really no shortage of comedy in the world. Stand-up comedy shows, comedy podcasts, things like that. But you may have some unique angle that you think genuinely does solve a problem. You may tailor everything towards people in a particular community. Let's say people who have diabetes, who get depressed a lot about their own health. Maybe you have some channel that fuses together your comedic timing, your comedic abilities, with a way of really helping people in a particular community feel better about their life and perhaps enhance their health. So we have to look at this from an expansive viewpoint. No matter who you are, where you are, what your interests are, you can look at your life, you can look at your career, you can look at your passions and time and energy and space and money you want to donate to the world, if it's not about a money-making thing, and really think about how do all these fit together so that you can find problems worth solving for you. Not for me, not for your parents, but problems worth solving for you. I don't want to seem schizophrenic here, but I do want you to realize you could focus on a very substantial problem, a problem worth solving, and it simply is not a problem that 99.9% of the world ever has to worry about. There are numerous diseases, and there are orphan diseases, orphan drugs out there that affect a tiny bit of the population. For example, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Only 1 to 2 people per every 100,000 people in the world are diagnosed with this disease every year. It is simply something, it's not contagious, as far as anyone knows. It is simply something that the vast majority, well above 99.9% of people, are never going to have to worry about. Now, it just so happens my father, my grandfather died of that disease, and I'm statistically speaking more likely to get it. But you shouldn't devote your life to solving a disease just because I have it. And thank you if you do, but realize that there can be very serious problems out there, big problems. Just because it doesn't apply to 99.9% of the world doesn't mean it's not a real problem and a problem worth solving. So cast a wide net, look at what you really care about, what your passion is, your expertise, your resources, factor it all in when selecting the right problem for you to focus on. Here's a test to see whether or not a problem is worth solving. Now, it's not an ironclad test, but broadly speaking, conceptually, it's great to subject any problem you're thinking of working on to this test. And here it is. Are people spending money trying to solve this problem right now? If they're not spending any money, maybe it's not really a problem. We know that housing is a problem for people. No one wants to just live under the stars all the time. We know people spend billions and billions of dollars a year, quite often in just one country, for housing. So if you can come up with a more affordable solution to housing, you know that's a problem worth solving. Healthcare. People spend $1 trillion a year on healthcare. If you can actually make people healthier, we already know people will spend money on that. Let me give you an example from my own personal failures of what doesn't meet that criteria. About 15, 20 years ago, I thought, well, hey, I'm a media trainer, and men need makeup when they go on camera and they're doing TV interviews. And a lot of women already know about makeup. I'm not saying all women, I'm not saying women need makeup or that they all know about makeup, but I'm saying broadly speaking, most professional women are familiar with makeup, and whether they use it regularly or not, they're familiar with it. Men weren't. I'm a media trainer. I'm coaching people before they go on TV. Why don't I come up with my own brand of makeup for men? So I had a whole product line. This is a mosaic powder. This is a foundation, and it does have my name on. Oh, it's blurry there. And I had a whole kit that I was selling. Sounds like a good idea, right? Not really. It turns out nobody was already spending money on TV makeup for men about to do TV appearances on CNBC or Bloomberg or CNN. There was no existing demand. I tried to solve a problem in my own mind, but it wasn't a real problem. Most men didn't worry about it. They didn't know they were supposed to have makeup on. And if they went to a TV studio, sometimes the TV network would provide makeup, or they just didn't have makeup on. So it turned out that didn't pass the test. And I'm here to tell you, I didn't make any money on it. Maybe I sold a couple, but it was not, in retrospect, a problem worth solving. It was me coming up with an interesting idea, a clever idea, thinking, okay, this uses my expertise, and it is an area where someone might get better if they use it. But truth be told, they could use any makeup from the drugstore if they knew how to just apply it, and someone else is going to teach them how to do that. So look, it's okay to fail. My failures are what have made me a success today, because I've tried a million things and have experimented with hundreds of online courses. Most of them haven't done really well, but dozens have become bestsellers and sold millions. So it's perfectly fine to experiment sometimes, not just conceptually, not just thinking, but actually trying things out. And then you realize in retrospect, that was not truly a worthy problem worth solving. And there you have it, just a small taste of what's inside finding a problem worth solving. If you've ever felt stuck, scattered, or unsure of your next move, this course is designed to help you focus your time and energy on solving problems that are not only profitable, but personally meaningful. You'll gain clarity, confidence, and a strategic edge by aligning your strengths with real-world needs. Ready to go deeper? The full course is waiting for you right now. Just click the link in the description. Thanks for listening to the TJ Walker Success Podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and keep solving what matters.